Location, location, location. People say that about real estate all the time, but I think it applies to solar mining too. Because solar mining is not just about buying a miner and finding enough panels to run it. The location decides what kind of system you can build in the first place. That's the part that gets missed. If you plug a miner into the grid, the math is fairly simple. You know the power cost, you know the miner's wattage, and you can run the numbers from there. Solar mining's different. Now the question isn't just whether the miner can make money. The question is whether the site can support that miner in a way that makes sense. That's why this project isn't the same as just plugging a miner into a house with rooftop solar. This is being built more like a small solar farm with controllable loads. That changes the whole approach. I'm not trying to force a miner into a solar system that was already built for something else. I'm building the solar, batteries, inverters, mining room, and control logic around the land I have. That matters because miners are different from most electrical loads. A well pump runs when the water is needed. A refrigerator runs when it needs to keep food cold. An air conditioner runs when the building gets hot. A miner doesn't have that kind of priority. It can wait. And in a solar system, that's a big advantage. If solar production's low, the miner can stay off. If the battery needs to recover, the miner can wait. Then when production comes up and the system has power available, the miner can turn on and use that power. That's the basic idea behind this build. I'm not trying to make miners run all night from batteries just so I can say it's solar powered. That turns into a very expensive battery project in a hurry. The better fit, at least for what I'm doing here, is daytime mining that follows the power available. The location is what makes that worth testing. Here in South Central Texas, I've got room to build ground mount solar. That doesn't solve every problem, but it gives me options that a roof system just doesn't have. A roof system is usually boxed in from the start. The roof faces whatever direction it faces, and the usable area is limited. Expansion might be difficult or impossible, and in most cases, the solar system's already there to serve the house. With ground mounts, I can think about the project differently. The solar array can grow as the load grows. The mining room can be placed where heat and noise make more sense. Batteries and inverters can be kept separate from the mining heat. Wiring, disconnects, airflow, and service access can be planned instead of being squeezed into whatever space is left over. That changes the project from a simple mining test into a real power system. Once you start running more than one miner, it has to be treated that way. One S21 class miner is roughly a 3,000 watt load. A few of them can swallow the output of a small solar system by themselves. Once you get into multiple miners, the miner's no longer the hard part. At that point, the support system becomes the real project. All the pieces have to work together. If one part is undersized or poorly planned, the miner will expose it pretty quickly. Down here, the location advantage is sun and space. The downside is heat. And heat is not a small problem. A Bitcoin miner turns almost every watt it uses into heat. If I'm running 12,000 watts of miners, I'm also making roughly 12,000 watts of heat that has to be moved out of the room. That affects everything around it. The mining room can't be treated like a closet. The airflow has to be part of the design. The exhaust fans have to keep up. The batteries and inverters need to be able to operate without being cooked by the same system they're powering. So the same Texas sun that makes the solar side attractive also makes the cooling side harder. That's the trade-off with this location. A cooler climate might be easier on the miners, but the solar window might not be as strong. A desert location might have excellent sun, but the dust and heat become the main battle. Every location changes the design. For this site, the design has to respect heat, distance, airflow, and expansion. If the miners are going to be useful, they need to follow the solar production instead of fighting it. That's where control comes in. A solar system has a natural curve. Production comes up, reaches its best window, then falls off. If the batteries are healthy and the inverters have room, that's when mining starts. But if clouds come through or the battery starts dropping, the miners need to back off. The miner should not be in charge of the solar system. The solar system should be in charge of the miner. That sounds simple, but it's the difference between a working solar mining setup and a system that just drains batteries and overheats equipment. The other reason I want the miners controlled this way is battery cost. Batteries are useful, they smooth the system out, help the inverters, and give the system some reserve. But using a large battery bank just to keep the miners running through the night is a completely different kind of project. That's not what I'm trying to build. If a miner is mostly running from stored energy, then the cost of storing that energy belongs in the mining mass. If you're connected to the grid and the miner is pulling from the grid during weak solar periods, that belongs in the math too. But if the miner runs only when the system has daytime production available, the situation changes. That's the window I'm trying to use. This property gives me enough room to test that in a way that would be hard to do on a normal house system. I can add solar as the project grows. I can build a dedicated mining space. I can move heat away from the batteries and inverters. I can make the system easier to work on instead of packing everything into a corner and hoping it stays manageable. That's the real advantage. But it also means the project has to be built like infrastructure. One miner on a bench is a test. A group of miners tied to a solar system is something different. Anybody can turn a miner on. The hard part is making it fit into a power system. That's what this build is really about. Not proving that a miner can run from solar for a few hours. That part's easy. The bigger question is whether the system can run day after day without problems. And that's the question that matters once this moves past a simple experiment. And again, the location decides a lot of those answers. So, does solar mining work? Well, it depends on where it's being built and what the system is expected to do. For this site, the goal isn't to beat the grid at 24/7 mining. The goal is to build a solar-powered mining load that follows the power available. If the sun is good, mine. If the battery needs to recover, wait. That may not sound as exciting as non-stop mining, but it fits the way solar actually behaves, and it fits this location. That's the point. Solar mining doesn't need a perfect site, but it does need a site that matches the strategy. Here the strategy is daytime production, controllable mining loads, batteries that support the system, and enough room to expand without building myself into a corner. That's what I'm testing here. Because in solar mining, location isn't just where the system sits. Location decides what the system can become. I hope this was helpful, or at least you got some entertainment value out of this video. If so, I sure would appreciate a like, a comment, and subscribe if you're not. It really helps out the channel. And if you're buying solar equipment, don't forget about the Signature Solar link and coupon code in the description. Until the next one, adios.